Now we'll see how to use scanf to input character values. We use the specifier, right? Remember, specifiers start with a percent sign. We use the letter C to read characters. It always reads the next character. Right? In our case, we're going to ignore this note here that says if a width other than 1 is specified, the function reads exactly width characters and stores them in an array. We haven't learned about arrays, so we're only going to try to read 1 character at a time. We'll use %C to do that, and let's take a look at how we can do that now. All right, here's a code blocks program, a C program. Right. I've got then a variable named cval. It's of type char, so it's a character. We're going to prompt the user to enter a character. You can see here in scanf, we use %C then for the character. So the C says character. We need to give it the address of our variable. So there's the address of cval. And then when we're done, I'm going to have the program print out not only the character value, so remember %C says to print out the character, also the decimal value that ASCII Unicode uses to store this information in memory. All right, so let's just build and run. And let's pick a character. Oh, how about K? Let's type in K, enter that, hit the enter key. All right, we can see then when we print out the information, we get the letter K and we get 107. Let's pop up an ASCII table. All right, make this a little bigger. All right, so small case K is right here in the ASCII table. All right, K is the printable character that we just saw, and we can see its decimal value is 107, which is why we saw this output, the 107. So when we use the %C with the printf, it says to go ahead and interpret that data or format that data as character. %D says to format that data as a base 10 integer. Now, just to show you that it does read any character, and I meant to have a new line character in here. Let's see. To show you that it runs sees any character, sorry, I forgot to stop the last one from running. I need to rebuild since I made a change to the program. All right. Right. And, oh, okay. Let's go to the capital letter R. Hit the enter key. We can see the R. If we go to the ASCII table, we should see that the capital letter R right here has a decimal value, base 10 value of 82. And that's what we saw pop up there. Right. Let's go ahead. I'm going to hit the space key, right? When I enter. So let's run this. Right. I'm just going to hit the space key. Now I have to hit the enter key to make scanf return. So I'll hit the enter key. And right, can we really see if the space key prints out? Well, I'm going to assume that what printed there was the space key since it's code a printable character. The decimal value is 32. Right? If we go back to the ASCII table, we'll see that the decimal value of the space key is 32. So let's go here. 32 is the space key. Right, so if we do some of these other printable characters, right, we will see that that is what is stored in there. Right? If I type a 0, we're going to see that it stores the character 0 and has a decimal value of 48. Let's try that one next. So let's run this. So I'm just typing a 0, hitting an enter. This says interpret this as a character, right? Notice the character value we got was a 0. It has a decimal value of 48. So when we say to interpret that as a character, it interprets that as a character 0, not the number 0. Right? Hit the enter key. Run again. Similarly, if we type 1, and I hit the enter key, it interprets it as the character 1. So the character value is 1, but the decimal value in memory is 49. So this tells it how to interpret the data. It says to interpret as a character of 1, right? Not the number 1. If we change the data type here, sorry, if we change this to a %d here, and now I build and run, I didn't change the data type, it's still a char, but I'm saying now when you read something in, I want you to treat it as an integer. All right, let me just type in the number 1. So I typed a 1, hit the enter key. Right. I can see that it read it in as the decimal value 1. Now your system may display something different than this output because according to the ASCII chart, right, the decimal value of 1 is some start of heading. It's a control character. Right. My system chose to print it out looking like this. Your system may not have printed anything out at all or printed something differently. Right. So what was the change that we made? All we did was change from a %C to a %D to say %D, read that and treat that as though it were decimal or integer information, base 10 that we're typing in that character. Right. Let's run this again. So now if I type in a 48, right, it read this as the integer 48, but when I say to take what's stored in cval, a decimal 48, interpret that or format that as a character, it formats that in the way of the ASCII table, which tells me its character representation is a 0, its decimal representation is still 48. And something a little bit different, right, with %C, %D, characters, decimals. So you can see then how these format specifiers then actually affect the way things are read in and the way things are printed out, the way they're formatted. That's our lesson on characters.